women are fertile approximately 6 days per month. 6. And men are fertile 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So, tell me why, when a couple can't conceive, she is the one who gets all the testing, all the appointments, all the lifestyle overhaul, all the supplements, all the emotional weight, and all the blame. And tell me why, when male birth control trials were conducted, trials where men were given hormones to suppress their fertility, those trials were discontinued because the men reported mood swings, acne, suicidal thoughts, which, by the way, are the same exact side effects women have been living with on hormonal birth control for decades, and nobody stopped those trials. And this is something that has gone mostly ignored in the fertility space. Now, I'm not here to make anyone angry. I'm here to tell you the truth. And the truth is this: fertility is not a woman's problem, and it never was. It is a two-person nervous system problem, a two-person health problem. And until both people in the relationship are treated like it, until both bodies are addressed, both nervous systems are in the room, and both partners are showing up fully engaged, you are solving half of the equation and wondering why you keep getting half the answer. That is what this episode is about. And if you're listening with your partner right now, which I hope you are, I need both of you to stay, because what I'm about to share could genuinely change everything for you. But before we get into it, if you've been following along and you are not yet subscribed, I want to ask you to do that right now. Hit that subscribe button and the bell. It's one of the best ways you can support the growth of this show. When you subscribe, it tells YouTube that this is the kind of content you want to see more of, and it helps YouTube show this content to more people who might really benefit from it. Hit subscribe, hit that bell so you never miss an episode, and let's get into it. Also, if you're new here, my name is Tamy Anderson, and I am where functional medicine meets mindset and nervous system rewiring. And that combination is actually the full picture that you need for building the unstoppable mindset, the healthy body, and the joyful life that you were put here to lead. Okay, so I want to start by talking about something that I see in almost every single woman who finds her way to me. She has been carrying this alone. Not just the trying to conceive journey, not just the tracking and the testing and the timing and the supplements and the appointments, all of it. The worrying, the researching at midnight, the quiet devastation every single time her period shows up, the performance of being fine when she's really not fine at all, the exhaustion of looking completely normal on the outside while something inside her feels like it is unraveling. She's been carrying it in her body. She's been carrying it in her nervous system. And more often than that, she's been carrying it completely alone. I see this so consistently in my practice that it almost feels like a given at this point. She found me. She booked the call, she did the labs, she started making changes to her diet, she's doing the breath work and the castor oil packs and the mineral soaks and all the things. And he is, he's supportive, maybe, nice about it. He doesn't interfere, but he's not in it with her. And here's what that does to a woman's body and nervous system that nobody is talking about. When you are carrying something this heavy, this loaded with grief and hope and fear all at the same time, and the person who is supposed to be your partner is not fully present, your nervous system registers that as isolation, as abandonment, as unsafety. as being alone in something you were never designed to carry alone. And a nervous system that doesn't feel safe cannot heal. I say this a lot. Your body is not broken. It just isn't safe yet. And safety, like really deep cellular safety, that doesn't come from a supplement. It never will. It doesn't come from a meditation app. It comes from your environment, your relationships, the quality of the nervous system energy around you, including, especially, his. And here's the thing about the fertility journey that makes it particularly brutal. Most of the time, you look completely fine. You go to work, you show up to family dinners, you smile at the baby shower, you congratulate the friend who got pregnant by accident while you are on month 19 of trying. You hold it together because, what else are you going to do? And because you look fine, people assume you are fine. Your partner, even the good ones, even the ones who love you deeply, can look at you functioning in the world and not fully grasp the real weight of what you are living with internally. There is a particular kind of loneliness that comes with a struggle that is invisible. When you break a leg, people can see it. You got the cast on, right? They bring you food. They ask how you're doing. There's a timeline. There's a clear path to getting better. But this, there's no cast. There's no visible evidence of the pain. There's just you tracking your cycle, researching your lab results, going down late night rabbit holes on Google or AI or Reddit, trying to find the answer that someone somewhere must have. Crying in the bathroom at work and wondering what is wrong with you. And the chronic state of low-grade stress and isolation that comes with carrying this journey all by yourself is not helping your body feel safe enough to do what you're asking it to do. I also want to speak directly to the chronic illness piece here because most of the women I work with are not just navigating fertility challenges. They're navigating migraines and gut issues and respiratory issues and skin issues and allergies, a level of fatigue that doesn't make sense for someone their age, symptoms that their doctors have looked at and either just completely dismissed or handed a label to. MCAS, histamine intolerance, mold illness, PCOS, endometriosis, chronic fatigue, right? Without ever once connecting those dots to why she can't conceive or maintain a pregnancy. And that is the part that breaks my heart because those are not separate problems. They are the same problem. The chronic symptoms and the fertility struggle are expressions of the exact same upstream dysregulation, right? But nobody in her care team has ever put that together for her. They're each only looking at that one little piece in their one tiny lane, and nobody's putting together the whole picture. To be dealing with symptoms that affect your daily life in a body that is not doing the thing you want the most, surrounded by people who love you but genuinely don't understand what you're going through, that combination is its own kind of trauma. And it lives in your nervous system. And it absolutely affects your ability to conceive, which is exactly why we need to talk about his role in all of this. Like I said earlier, fertility has been framed as a woman's problem for so long that most couples walk into the trying to conceive journey with the same unconscious assumption that she is the one who needs to get her body ready. She is the one who needs to clean up her diet, take the prenatal, track her cycle, reduce her stress, right? Get her hormones balanced. So I'm here to flip that narrative on its head. His body fucking matters. No pun intended. Because here's the biology, and the facts matter here. Women are fertile approximately 6 days per month. 6. And that window is affected by everything. Her stress levels, her sleep, her gut health, her hormone balance, her nervous system state, her toxic load, her nutritional status. A lot of variables have to align at that same time for conception to happen on her end. Right? Men, on the other hand, are producing sperm continuously, biologically fertile around the clock, which means that the responsibility of what he is bringing into this equation is not a one-time thing. It is an every single day thing. And yet, when a couple is struggling to conceive, who goes to the fertility clinic? Who gets the testing? Who starts overhauling her diet and her lifestyle and her supplement routine, right? Who carries the emotional weight of the entire journey? Almost always her. In my work with couples, I would say that 90% of the time, women are the ones who find me. Once in a while, there's the guy that's looking for the answers, but usually it's her. Women are the ones who are doing the research. Women are the ones who book the call, show up for the sessions, implement the recommendations, and drive the entire process. You know, and their partners are somewhere in the background, maybe supportive, maybe skeptical, maybe just not really engaged. And I get it. I'm really not villainizing men here. Most of the time, it is not intentional. It's just that nobody has ever told them that this was their responsibility too. Nobody ever handed them a pamphlet that said, hey, you know, your body matters in this. Your sperm health matters. Your hormones matter. Your gut health matters. Your nervous system matters. What you bring into this partnership physically and energetically has a direct impact on whether this works or not. This is part of why in my work, I require both partners in the room, not as a nice to have, as a non-negotiable. Because the approach I use, looking at both bodies, both nervous systems, and building real alignment between two people who are trying to create a family together, only works if both people are actually doing the work, right? And if that interests you and you want to know more about what that looks like, there's a link in the description below to apply for a partner discovery call where both of you show up together from the very first conversation. So let's talk about sperm health, because it is genuinely and dramatically underestimated in this conversation. Sperm quality has been measurably, documentably declining over the last several decades in count, in motility, in morphology. And the drivers are the same things we talk about on this show all the time. Toxin exposure, processed foods, chronic stress, sleep deprivation, sedentary lifestyle, gut dysfunction, nutritional deficiencies, hormonal disruption from the environmental chemicals that are everywhere in modern life. These things affect his body and his reproductive capacity just as much as they affect hers. And here is what matters specifically for the conception equation. When sperm quality is compromised, you do not just have trouble getting pregnant. You have increased risk of miscarriage, increased risk of complications in early pregnancy, potential impacts on the long-term health of the baby itself. Half of the DNA that makes your child comes from him. Half. And the quality of that DNA, the integrity of it, the epigenetic information it is carrying is directly influenced by his health in the months before conception. The 3 months before conception are critical. That is how long it takes for sperm to fully develop, which means that the food that he is eating right now, the toxins that he is being exposed to right now, the stress that he is carrying right now, the sleep that he is getting right now, the emotional wounds he has not yet healed from his past, all of that is literally shaping the genetic material that will contribute to your child. That is not a small thing. That is enormous. So I want the men listening to really sit with that for a second. This isn't about blame here. It's about the conversation that hasn't been happening and has never really historically happened in this space. Most men have genuinely never been told that their preconception health matters at this level. And once they know, the good ones step up every single time. But sperm health, hormones, and toxic load aside, the piece that is the most underrated and underestimated for both partners, and potentially the most impactful part of this entire puzzle, it's his nervous system, and specifically how his nervous system affects hers. Here is something fundamental about the way human beings are wired. We are not isolated systems. We are social, relational, neurological beings who are constantly in a state of communication with the people around us. And most of that communication is happening below the level of conscious awareness. There's a concept in neuroscience called co-regulation. And what it means simply is that our nervous systems influence each other. When you are in close proximity to another person, especially someone you love, someone you're attached to, someone you share a home and a bed with and a life with, your nervous systems are in constant conversation with each other. When he is calm and he's regulated and present and safe, her nervous system picks that up. It registers safety. It downregulates the threat response. It shifts out of fight or flight and into the state where healing can actually happen, where hormones balance, where the body can do the thing that it was actually designed to do. But when he is stressed, dysregulated, checked out, emotionally unavailable, carrying unresolved anxiety or trauma or resentment, her nervous system picks that up too. And she might not even be consciously aware of it. She may not be able to put her finger on why she feels vaguely, like unsettled, like something is just off. But her nervous system knows, and it responds accordingly. And I want to take this a little further because this is not just about conception. This is about what happens once she is pregnant. Her nervous system state during pregnancy directly affects her ability to maintain that pregnancy. And the research on what a mother's chronic stress does to the life growing inside her is something more people need to hear. Because it's not just about her. Babies that are born to mothers who are under extreme stress or chronic emotional dysregulation during pregnancy show measurable differences in their own nervous system development, in their stress response architecture, in their emotional regulation capacity as they grow. The environment she is carrying that baby in shapes who that baby becomes from the very beginning, which means creating nervous system safety is not just a fertility strategy. It is the first act of parenting. A dysregulated nervous system cannot conceive as effectively as a regulated one. This is not just a bunch of woo-woo. This is biology. The branch of the nervous system that's responsible for reproduction is also the branch responsible for connection, for safety, and for rest. You cannot be in fight or flight and simultaneously be in a state that's optimal for conception, right? The body prioritizes survival over reproduction every time. So when she is living inside a relationship where she is carrying the emotional and physical burden of this journey all by herself, where his unresolved stress or checked out presence is adding to the background noise of her nervous system rather than calming it down, her body is receiving a continuous signal that says this is not a safe time or place to bring a baby into. And there is not a single supplement on earth that is going to override that signal. Now, this next thing I'm going to say might sound a little too woo-woo for some of you, but I want you to stick with me and hear me out, because this is actually one of the most practical things or truths that I have found in this work. And really, it's the baseline for everything. We are all energy. Every thought you think carries a frequency. Every emotion you feel carries a frequency. Every belief you hold about yourself, about your body, about your relationship, about whether you deserve to be a parent or whether you're worthy of love or any of those things. All of that is energy. And energy is not contained neatly inside the borders of your body. It radiates outward, sort of like that ripple you see when you throw a rock into a body of water. It influences the people and the environment around you. We've all had that experience where we walked into a room and immediately felt the tension before a single word was spoken. We've all had the experience of being around someone whose presence is just so calm and grounding that our own shoulders just drop and relax. We've all been in relationships where the other person's anxiety became our anxiety, where their bad day contaminated our good one. So when I say that his nervous system affects hers, I mean it in the clinical sense of co-regulation. And I also mean it in the energetic sense that it is just as real in its outcomes. His unresolved trauma affects her. His chronic stress affects her. His anxiety about money or work or whether he's enough affects her. His ambivalence about this journey, the part of him that might not fully be sure or that is scared of what fatherhood means, or that's, carrying grief from his own childhood that he's never dealt with, that energy is in the room. It is in the bed. It is in her body. And I talked about in a previous episode, which I'll link for you at the end of this one, about how most of us never become actual grown-ups. And about how so many adults are still being run by the programming and the wounds from their childhood, and how that shows up in every relationship we're in. And this is exactly what I mean here. I actually experienced this in my own marriage with my late husband, God rest his soul. He carried a boatload of unhealed grief and deep feelings of unworthiness and resentment that came from growing up feeling unloved by his own father. And that unhealed wound showed up in so many ways in our relationship. Anytime that I tried to express something that was bothering me, his nervous system just heard criticism. It heard, you're not enough, you're not worthy. He wasn't hearing me, his wife, just simply telling him that something wasn't working for her. He was hearing his father telling him that he wasn't enough. And he responded from that place every single time. That is what unhealed wounds do in a partnership. They don't stay in the past. They show up in the present, in the dynamic, in the energy of the home, in her nervous system. And the inverse is equally true. His healing affects her. His willingness to do the inner work, to get regulated, to show up fully present and emotionally available and genuinely committed to this journey, that changes her body's experience of safety in ways that no diet, no supplement, no breathwork practice can replicate. That is why when couples show up together in this work, both of them engaged, both of them doing the nervous system work, both of them taking responsibility for their health and their energy, I see different outcomes, more sustainable outcomes, because we've addressed the whole environment that she is trying to conceive in, not just her body, the whole thing. So let me paint two different pictures for you, because I've seen both of these pictures from the practitioner perspective and also, from personal life perspective. So picture number one, she finds me, she does everything. She cleans up her diet, she addresses her gut infections, she works on her nervous system, she starts doing the mindset work. She is all in. And he's fine with it, He's glad that she's found something and she seems to be doing better. But he's not done his own work. He's not done his own labs or made any changes to his diet. He's still stressed and not sleeping and carrying whatever he's been carrying for years. She comes to her sessions all by herself. We make progress. But there's always this ceiling, right? This point where her nervous system just can't fully get regulated because she goes home every night to an environment that keeps pulling her back towards dysregulation. She's doing incredible work, right? And she's doing it essentially alone. Picture number two. They come together from day one. He shows up on each call. He hears what's happening in her body, and for the first time, really understands the real weight of what she's been carrying. He does his own labs. He makes changes. He starts doing the nervous system work that he needs for himself alongside her. He becomes a genuinely regulated, present, engaged partner. And what I see in her body, in her nervous system, in her emotional state, it's like night and day. Something that was tight and braced and defended just starts to open up and be free, because she finally doesn't have to hold it all by herself. The second scenario is always going to produce better outcomes. Always. Not because I'm a better practitioner in that scenario, because we've actually addressed the problem. All of the problems, I should say. We've addressed the environment that she's trying to heal in. We've addressed the relational nervous system dynamic that was working against her body the whole time. And honestly, the men who step into this, who really step in, are often profoundly transformed by the experience. because most of them have never been invited into a conversation about their own health and their own nervous system and their own unresolved patterns in this way before. And when they are, and when they respond to that invitation, something in them just shifts in the relationship, in how they view themselves, in their sense of purpose and partnership, in what it means for them to become a father and the true leader that he was intended to be for his wife and family. It is genuinely one of the most beautiful things that I get to witness in my work. So if you are a man listening to this, whether your partner sent it to you, or if you found it by yourself, or you're just along for the ride, first, thank you for being here. Seriously. The fact that you are here and listening means more to her than you can even imagine. And I want to be really clear that nothing I've said in this episode is about blame at all. It's about the conversation that has not been happening, that has never historically happened in this space. The way fertility has been framed for generations has left men out almost entirely. It's been positioned as a woman's issue, her body, her problem, her responsibility to solve. And that framing has done a disservice to everyone, right? To women who have been left carrying an impossible load, to men who have been denied the opportunity to show up fully, and to couples who have been trying to solve a two-person problem with only one person in the room. You are not irrelevant in this. You are essential for more than just the bedroom part of things. Your health matters. Your sperm quality matters. Your hormone levels matter. Your gut health matters. Your stress levels matter. The emotional wounds you are still carrying from your past matter. What you eat and how you sleep and what toxins you are being exposed to, all of it matters for the DNA that you are contributing, for the pregnancy outcomes, for the health of your future child, both physical and emotional health. And your nervous system matters. Your presence matters. The way you show up in your relationship, whether you are regulated or dysregulated, engaged or checked out, doing your own work or carrying unresolved stuff you've never looked at, all of that is in the room with her. All of that is affecting her body's experience of safety. You have more power in this than anyone has ever told you. And the question that I want to leave you with is this: are you using it? I don't mean that as a guilt trip. I mean it as an invitation. Because you can choose to step into this fully. You can choose to do your own work, to clean up your own health, to regulate your own nervous system, to do the mindset work, to show up as a fully present and engaged partner. And when you do, you change everything. Not just for her, for you, for your relationship now and in the future, for the family that you're trying to build together. So I want to close with what is, to me, the most important thing I'm going to say today. Your body is not broken. His body is not broken either. What's happening for both of you is that your bodies are responding to an environment that has not felt safe, that has not had what it needs, that has been carrying more than it was biologically designed to carry for longer than anyone should have to carry it without the right support. And that is fixable. That is completely 100% fixable. But it requires looking at the whole picture, not just her labs, not just her nervous system, not just her diet and her stress levels and her limiting beliefs. The whole picture includes him. It includes the relational nervous system that both of you are living inside every single day. It includes the energy you are creating together. And if that is something that you're ready to explore, if you are a couple who is done doing this separately and ready to do it together as a team, the right way, it's going to start with a conversation. So I work with a limited number of couples at any one time, and it needs to be the right fit for both of us. So if this feels like the right next step for you, applications for the partner discovery call are open, and you can find the link to schedule that in the description down below. I also have a free masterclass in the works for you. It is specifically designed for couples navigating this journey together, and it goes deep on everything we talked about today and more. So I will let you know in future episodes when that's live, and I'll also link it down below in this episode as well once it's ready for you. So keep an eye out for that. Depending on when you're watching this episode, it might already be waiting for you. And hey, thank you so much for sharing your time with me today. I really do appreciate that you're here. I genuinely love the work I get to do. I have to pinch myself sometimes, helping couples grow and heal together and create healthy, happy families, because that's ultimately how we change the energy and frequency of the entire world, by healing together, right? And we're doing this together. So if something in this episode hit home, if you felt seen and heard, or something that I said cracked something open for you, drop a comment on YouTube down below and let me know what that was. I try to read every single one of them, and your words really do matter to me. Also, please share this episode if you know a woman who's in the middle of this journey and feeling alone in it. Send this to her. And if you know a couple who needs to hear this conversation, send it to both of them. Subscribe if you haven't yet. Leave a rating and review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify if you're listening on one of the audio platforms. It just takes a couple minutes, and it genuinely does help this show reach the people who need it. I love you, I mean it, and I'll see you in the next episode.